This is Erkki Miinala, the president of European Goalball Club Association speaking. We are happy to inform you that we have today 63 participants from 23 countries are taking part of this masterclass. We start this masterclass with some serious and sad news. 2 weeks ago, one of the long period member in Goalball community passed away at age of 44. Nancy Marin is one of the most impressive and successful athletes in the history of Goalball. She presented her country, Canada, 5 times in the Paralympic Games and won the gold medal at 2000 Sydney and 2004 Athens Paralympic Games. I believe that all of us wants to send our support and sympathy for her family. Now I want to ask for you to rise up if you can, to keep 1 minute quiet moment for the memory of Nancy Marin. Thank you all. Today we have also some happy news. I believe that all of you wants to join me to wish happy birthday to our director of the Goalball Academy. Happy birthday, Marcia Ferreira.
Thank you.
Today we have a very interesting and important subject when we have in the middle of this masterclass of the athletes. And Corona pandemic times has put Goalball athletes to face new challenges in the practicing. Most of us can't train or play any goalball at the moment or visit a gym for the workouts. Many of us are wondering how to survive throughout these hard times. I promise you that the speaker of the day will give you valuable help and share great ideas how to work out during the Corona time. He's a 3-time Paralympian in Goalball and the silver medalist at 2016 Rio Paralympic Games. He is now preparing for the 2021 Tokyo Paralympic Games with US men's national team. He is also a motivational speaker, but especially he is a graduated personal trainer. I want to wish you warmly welcome Mr. Tyler Merren. Now the stage is yours.
Thank you, Erkki. I very, very much appreciate it. I'm really, really happy to be here. I am really happy to be talking to you guys. I'm super excited that I got invited to help everybody out in these challenging times. So the first question that I want to ask you guys is, how powerful are you? I want you to stop and think for a second about that question, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to take you through a couple of key points, actually 3 of them, 3 characteristics that are going to help you determine how powerful you are. And they're going to help you become a master of change. The three characteristics that I'm talking about, okay, we have the idea of perseverance, we have the idea of adaptability, and the idea of ownership, okay? Those three things will help us master change. So let me introduce myself to you. My name, like Erky said, is Tyler Merren. I've been a member of the Men's USA Goalball team for almost 20 years. So it's a long time. I'm the old man on the team, one of them, I guess. And so for me, one of the things that is so important about my career, my path, when I'm doing personal training, when I'm doing motivational speaking, is to help people understand that they have power, to help them understand that you have choices. So when we talk about change, right, we know that change is going to happen. Change is inevitable. Heraclitus was a Greek philosopher who was active around 500 BC, and he said that change alone is unchanging. We know that tomorrow will not be the same as today. So how do we master that change? How do we bend it to our advantage? Okay, so I'm going to give you those 3 points again, and then we're going to break them down little by little. I'm going to give you some advice on each one, and then we're going to do a little bit of a workout session that ties into each one of those. So I hope you guys have a little bit of space wherever you are. I hope you have some workout clothes on. If you don't, maybe you can run and get changed real quick. But I'm hoping to give you guys some great tips on each one of these categories and how to mix in these workouts. So let's talk about the first one, ownership. Okay. It is so important that we take ownership, extreme ownership of who we are and what happens in our lives. We can't help the fact that life changes, but we can help how we react to it and how we respond to it. So I want to share a quick story with you about a man named Richard Hovis. Richard was a middle-aged man. He was ex-Navy. He retired from the military. And he had a son who was a teenager who had a disease and it crippled him. He was in a wheelchair. His son couldn't move his arms, couldn't move his legs. He couldn't speak. He communicated through an adaptive device. And Richard was out of the military for a number of years. He was a self-proclaimed porker. He was fat. He was a big guy, right? He was out of shape, didn't care anything about his health. He just was an old retired guy. Well, one weekend in his hometown, there was a charitable 1 mile walk, and his son communicated to his dad that he wanted to be in this race. So his dad decided that he would push his son in the wheelchair in this 1 mile 5K walk, 1 mile run walk event. Well, his son loved it. He said he felt so free. And so what Richard did is he decided that he would continue to do this, even though this 1 mile almost killed him, right? He said he was so sore after this event, he could barely walk. But he decided that he was going to help his son. He was going to take ownership of this situation. And he began to train himself and compete and push himself. And eventually he started pushing his son in 5K races, 10K races, full marathons. He started doing triathlons where he would place his son on a seat on the bike and strap him in, and he would ride his bike in these races. He would swim in the swimming event for these triathlons while pulling his son in a boat that his son would float in, and he would swim with this harness on him. And he became such a good athlete that actually a number of years later he had a heart attack, and he survived the heart attack, and his physician said if he had not been in such great shape, he would not have come through on this. He took ownership of his life, even though his circumstances may have been a little challenging. He was not in very good shape. He had challenges with his son who was disabled, but he decided that he was going to own what that was. So for us, in order for us to master change, we need to take ownership as well. And part of that is being prepared, okay? So when we prepare for life, when we prepare for a workout, a warm-up is so crucial. So let's go ahead and start with that. We're going to go through a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to get stretched out, and then we're going to go on to our next principle of perseverance, okay? So wherever you guys are, I would love for you to, again, stand up, find a little bit of space. We're going to do a few stretches. We're going to do a couple of movements, because even if you don't have access to the goalball court or the fitness center, you guys still have the opportunity to own who you are and own your situation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of a march in place. So I'm going to turn sideways so you guys who can see the camera can see this. But if you're not able to see the video, please don't worry, because as a personal trainer, as a speaker, my mission is to make sure that if you don't have any vision, I describe very well what I'm doing for you. So you should be able to follow along, no problem. All right, so I'm going to turn sideways. Let's start off with a march in place. So I'm going to bend my elbows to 90 degrees and my palms facing in towards each other. I'm going to do what's called runner's arm. So I'm going to bring my right arm up so my fist is pointed towards the ceiling and my left elbow back. And then I'm going to switch those and bring my left arm up and my right elbow back. You keep your elbows bent 90 degrees and you swivel back and forth. Right arm, left arm. Now we're going to add in the leg. So as my right arm comes up, my left knee is going to raise in front of me at about waist level. My foot is right under my knee. And then I'm going to switch. My left arm comes up, right knee comes up. And let's switch back and forth. So I'm right, left, right, left. Let's go ahead and just march in place a little bit. This is called a high knee march in place. And it's a very easy movement for your joints. Get everything warmed up, loosened up, making sure that we get the blood flowing a little bit before we start our workout today. So as we're doing this warm up, I want you guys to think about what areas in your life do you need to accept ownership of more? What areas have you allowed these changes, which are very challenging? It's very frustrating, right, that we can't get on the goalball court. I want to a lot. But when you can't, have you sat around and said, oh, well, there's nothing I can do? No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be up. You should be moving. There's many, many things that you can do. Let's switch exercises now. We're going to do the same arm running movement, okay? But this time, instead of bringing your knee up in front of you, I want you to lift your heel behind you. Bring your heel up towards your buttocks. So right arm comes up, left elbow comes back, left heel towards your buttocks. And then you switch. Left arm up, right heel to your buttocks. Switch back and forth. So this will warm up the thighs, the quadriceps, and continue to get your heart rate up just a little bit. And again, as we're going through these movements, think about that question I asked you, is how powerful are you? Do you have the opportunity to do better things in your life? Can you take more ownership of the situation that you are in? Good, let's go ahead and a couple more and pause. I'm gonna face towards you guys. We're gonna do a lateral step and then we're gonna do a couple of stretches to finish up this warm up. So as I'm facing towards you guys, I'm gonna squat down just slightly, just a little bend in the knees, a little lean forward in the chest, put your buttocks back just slightly. So ready position. So my hands are kind of out in front of me with my elbows bent at my side. And I'm going to have you take a big step to your right, bring your left foot in. Big step to your left, bring your right foot in. Big step to your right, big step to your left. Step to the right, step to the left. Now as you're doing this, we're warming up the muscles here, the outside of your hips. Step side, step side. Now, again, some of you, hopefully not, but some of you, maybe this is the first time you've been moving in a little while. That's okay. You can make that change now. Doesn't have to happen 3 weeks ago. It can happen now. Step to the side, step to the side, step to the side, step to the side. Okay, so we're going to get some good cardio exercise on our next set and our perseverance stage, that workout. We're going to get a little more cardio. Okay, go ahead and pause. Shake the legs out. And let's go ahead and stretch out the body a little bit. I'm going to give you just a couple of dynamic stretches that we're going to do to help loosen up the body. The first one, we're going to do anterior, posterior stretch. So here's how this works. Glue your left foot to the floor. Keep your left knee straight the whole time. So we're not going to move the left leg. It stays right there. Take a medium-sized step forward with your right foot. So not really, really big, but a little bit bigger than just a walking step. Your front knee is bent. You're going to reach up, arch your back, look up to the sky. Okay? Stretching out the front of your hip, looking up, arching. Okay? Step back. Now, take your right foot, instead of stepping forward, this time step back. Okay? Left knee is straight, right knee is bent. Sweep your hands down towards the floor. and back behind you. So your left leg is straight out in front of you. You're bowing over that straight left leg. And then you come back up. Let's repeat those a couple times. I'm going to take my right foot, step forward, reach up, arch my back, stretch out my hip. And then I'm going to step back and sweep my hands down, stretching out that front leg. So my left foot isn't moving the whole time. Step forward with my right foot, reach up, arch your back. Now take your right foot, step back, sweep your hands down. Okay, we'll just get a couple more and then we're going to switch legs. Step forward, reach up, arch your back. And then step back, sweep your hands down. Good, guys. Should feel a good stretch down through the left leg. Let's go ahead and switch legs now. So now your right foot doesn't move. Keep your right foot stuck to the floor. Right knee is straight. Step forward with your left leg. Reach up. Arch your back. Look up. And then step back with the left foot. And sweep your hands down. So your right leg is staying straight the whole time. Don't let it bend. Step forward. Reach up. And step back. Sweep down. Good. Step forward. Reach up. And step back, sweep down. Excellent, guys. Should be getting a little warm now. Starting to sweat a little bit. Good. I sweat easily, though. Let's go. Next one. I'm looking to you guys now. I'm looking straight at you. I want your arms straight up in the air. We're going to stretch out the outside of the body. So left foot stuck to the floor again. Don't let the left foot move. Stays right where it is. Take your right leg. Cross it over your left. So I'm placing my right foot flat on the floor on the outside of my left foot. Okay. Now I'm going to push my hips to the left as I lean my body to the right, stretching out the outside of my left body. Okay. Left hip, left shoulder, left rib. Stand back up. Now take your right foot, take a big step out to your right. Left leg is straight. Right knee is bent. And you're going to lean to your left to stretch out the inside of your leg. Good. Now let's go back and forth between those two. My arms stay up. My left foot doesn't move. Left knee stays straight the whole time. Cross the right foot over the left. Lean to your right. Big step out to your right and lean to your left. You're kind of swiveling back and forth. Cross the right foot over, lean to your right. And then big step out to your right, lean to your left. And a couple more and we'll switch legs. Cross the right foot over, lean to your right. Big step out to your right, lean to your left. Try to keep those arms straight up overhead, high as you can. Arms are up over your head. One more. Cross the right foot over, lean to your right. Big step out to your right, lean left. Perfect. Okay, shake the arms out. Let's do the other leg now, okay? Glue your right foot to the floor. Right leg doesn't move. Right knee is straight. Arms up overhead. Cross the left foot over the right, okay? Put your left foot flat on the floor on the outside of your right foot. Now push your hips to the right just slightly as you lean your arms and shoulders to the left. Big stretch in your body. Then you come back up. Now big step out to your left. Right knee stays straight as you lean to your right. Arms are up overhead the whole time, okay? Cross the right leg over your, Cross the left leg over your right. Lean to your left. And now big step out to your left, lean back to your right. Getting the body stretched out a little bit. Cross the left leg over, lean to your left. And then big step out to your left, lean to your right. Honestly, guys, if you mix this up a little bit, no big deal. Won't hurt you. Okay, guys. Next one. Let's go ahead and do just a real quick reach down, reach up movement to finish up this warm-up. There's a lot more that we could do, but I want to keep rolling so we can get you guys all the information that I want to give you today. So I'm going to be standing just both feet hip width, knees are soft. I'm going to reach down as far as I can towards my toes, round up my back, stretch it out. And then I'm going to reach up in the air and come up on my toes. Reach all the way down to the floor, stretch out your back, and then reach up overhead, up on your toes. One more time, reach down, and then up overhead, reach up high. And good. Go ahead and relax. Shake the arms out. Hope you guys feel a little bit looser now. There's a lot more that I can show you guys. I have a full dynamic warm-up that I have posted on my YouTube channel. that I teach in a lot of my groups, my fitness group online. I'll talk to you guys about that at the end of this, give you guys some more information. But let's go ahead and go on to that next principle. So the first one we talked about, mastering change, you have to accept ownership of what's happening in your life, right? Don't sit there and say, oh, there's nothing I can do. Yes, it's challenging. It is challenging. It's very hard. But you can own it. You can control it. You can make it happen, right? Next one, perseverance. So I want to tell you a really cool story about one of my favorite mentors. I guess I don't know if it'd be a mentor. I've never met him, but it's somebody that I very much looked up to and was inspired by. In the early 1950s, there was a race, a literal race, to try to be the first human being in the world to run a sub 4-minute mile. Okay, so running 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. Very, very, very fast, right? And it was during a time when it was almost thought to be scientifically impossible, physiologically impossible, that the human body could sustain that kind of speed. People had run a mile in 4 minutes and 4 seconds, 4 minutes and 3 seconds, but nobody had been able to beat it. Well, Roger Bannister, who was a physician in the UK at the time, he didn't think that it was impossible. He decided that it could be done. And even though he saw a lot of literature, he read a lot of things, and a lot of people had said, no, it can't be done, he persevered. He continued to train. He continued to put himself through rigors. He had set up his own training program. And in a situation that was not ideal, right, where the literature had said, if somebody was to run a sub 4-minute mile, if they were to run it that fast, it would have to be just perfect conditions. A flat clay track with no wind, and it would have to be around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. There'd have to be thousands and thousands of people in the stands cheering them on to get their adrenaline flowing. It'd have to just be perfect conditions. Well, in May of 1956, on a wet, cold day with only about 1,000 plus people watching, Roger Bannister was able to run a mile in 3 minutes, 59.6 seconds. So he was able to do it even though people didn't think it could be done and in the conditions that people didn't think he could. Why? Because he persevered. He kept going. He didn't allow the problems and the challenges that he was facing to stop him from doing things, right? So now I want to teach you guys a little bit about perseverance. Let's go ahead and get into a quick exercise routine. Let me show you guys a couple of movements that's going to help get your heart rate up, get a little cardio going, okay? We've just got 3 exercises. We're going to do 3 rounds, 45 seconds apiece. I got a timer I'm going to start for you guys in a second. Let me just show them to you real quick. The first one, that march in place that we did when we started, right? So when we're doing that march in place, now though, we're going to kick it up a notch and we're going to do a jog in place. So instead of lifting my left arm and my right knee and then putting them back down and switching, we're going to switch in the air, okay? Back and forth. March, high knees, stepping up, okay? So you're going to jog in place. You're going to run in place. Not just a march. You're going to pick up the speed, pick up the pace. And then the second one we're going to do is the heel kick, okay? So same thing here. Instead of switching very slowly, marching, we're going to go fast. Switch. My same movement, but I'm going to drive the heel up. And then the third exercise we're going to do is a jumping jack, okay? 2 positions. First one, feet together, arms are at my side, okay? Position 2, I'm going to jump up just slightly. I'm going to land with my feet wide and my arms out and just a little bit over my head. So I'm making like a big X with my body. So it's position 1, feet together, hands at your side. Position 2, arms are out, feet out, making a big X. And you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. These are called jumping jacks or star jumps, depending on where you're from. So you guys go ahead and get yourself set up. I'm going to turn on the timer. If you need to grab a little bit of space, you need to get a towel or something, you're more than welcome to do that. Let me go ahead and get my timer going. So if you guys are ready, we're going to begin. We got 45 seconds per exercise. We got 3 rounds. We're going to do 15 seconds rest in between. Let's go ahead and go with our high knee jog in place. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, and go. So high knee jog in place. Make sure that you get your arms up, get your knees up. And I hope none of you, of the 60-something participants that are in right now, maybe a little more, nobody should be sitting down. Nobody should be sitting down right now. Come on, guys, get up. I don't even care if you're in a suit. Maybe you're wearing a suit and tie. You can do this. Come on, it's not going to be a big deal. So get your knees up. Let's go. Head up high, back straight. Make sure that you keep your belly pulled in tight. Drive those knees up. Drive the fist up. Jogging in place. Few more seconds. And pause. Good. Next one, we got 15 seconds. We're going to our heel kick run. Okay? You guys don't need a lot of equipment. If you have it, great. But you don't need it, right? You guys can be good athletes. Set and begin. Let's go. Heel kick run. So we've got heels driving up, opposite arm, stretching out the glutes, hamstrings, working the glutes and hamstrings, I should say, stretching out the quads. Sorry, when I start doing the workout, I start losing oxygen. I become less and less coherent, so hopefully y'all can follow along. Drive the heels up, guys. Come on, get up on your feet. Let's go. You guys can do this. Persevere. Take ownership. Keep going. Make sure you guys know what you're going for here. And pause. Good. Next one we have is jumping jacks. This is just round 1. Hopefully you guys came in with an idea that you were going to sweat a little bit today. I'm excited about that. Deep breath in. Set and begin. Jumping jack. Jumping jack. Nice and smooth here, right? Stay up on the balls of your feet. Position 1, 2, 1, 2. Try to keep your heart rate up. Keep your body moving. Stay up on your toes. Don't let your heels hit the ground too much. Try to stay up on the toes. And if you're like me and you tend to drift around a little bit while you're doing this, you can always set up on a yoga mat. So that way, if you reach the edge of the mat, you know you've moved too far, and you can easily bring it back. You guys are good. Keep moving. We got a few more seconds, and done. Okay, shake it up. That was round 1 of 3. Okay, getting in a good workout today. Seeing I drifted, I moved. I didn't grab my yoga mat today for this one. High knee jog, high knees. Come on, guys, get them up. Let's go. And begin. High knees, bring them up. It's all about your determination, guys. It's a definite challenging time, especially when you take a bunch of athletes like us and you say, no, you can't play your sport anymore. You got to go sit home for a while. What? Sucks. No fun. But that doesn't mean we have to sit still. You can still prepare your body. You can be more flexible. You can drink more water. You can get better rest. You can still make yourself a better athlete. Keep it going, guys. High knee jog, high knee. Come on, step it up, step it up, step it up. A few more seconds. Perfect, that's it. Whew, I'm starting to feel this. I hope you guys are starting to feel this a little bit. Heel kicks now. Switching back and forth. Heel kick run. Okay? Set. Go. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Quick pace, guys. Quick pace. Driving up. Driving up. You can do this. Good. Make sure when you're doing this, again, keep your head up. Keep your head up high. Looking forward. We're not looking up towards the ceiling. You're looking forward, driving your heels up. And again, I hope you're up on your feet. Don't be sitting down watching me work. It's not going to do you any good. Nobody's going to come over and do the work for you. That'd be nice, right? But it doesn't work like that. You got to get up. You got to do the work. Drive the heels up. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Next one. We're going jumping jacks. Round 2, jumping jacks. Get set. Deep breath. and begin. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No stopping, guys. No stopping. Come on. Get a little sweat going. We're almost done with this circuit. And we're going to talk about our last principle of adaptability. Adaptability is super important. We talked about ownership, talked about persevering, and we got to talk about adaptability. We're going to do a little strength training. Almost there. I've only taught you guys like 6 exercises, and we're already getting in a super good workout. Doesn't have to be crazy complicated. Just got to work. Just got to push. A few more seconds, and done. Okay. Anybody tired yet? Me? Shake the legs out. We're going to go one more round. Okay, so we're back to hiding jogs. Get yourselves set and go. I don't know if you guys can hear my timer in the background. That's okay if you can't. Just I try to have it loud enough so you can hear it, but I don't think I turned it up loud enough today. Grab the knees up, head up, arms up, everything up. Good. Back straight. Steady as she goes. Make sure that you guys are landing soft, right? I want to hear you hitting the ground real hard, real soft on your knees, soft on your toes. Just let the feet barely touch the floor. Real soft. Drive the fists up. Keep it going. Squeeze the belly in. Keep it tight. 2 more seconds. Good. Okay. 2 more exercises. We're going to move on. We've got our heel kicks and we've got our jumping jacks. And our timer will be done. Get ready, set, and go. Switch, switch. Good. So it is left heel, right arm. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Come on, fellas and ladies, both. I hope the birthday girl's up. Is the birthday girl up and moving? Are you up and doing this? Hopefully. You'll have to tell me at the end. She better be. Getting a birthday workout in. Come on. Kick those heels up. Shake it off. We got work that we're doing. It's a good weekend. Drive those heels up. Keep your head up. A few more seconds. And good. Okay, last one. Jumping jacks, and then we're going to talk about adaptability. Do a little strength training, okay? Get our muscles pumped. Here we go. Jumping jacks. 2, 1, begin. 1, 2, 1, 2. Jumping jacks. Good. Same thing here, guys. Soft on the feet. Soft on your knees. Keeping the back straight. The belly pulled in tight. Just checking where I am. Good. Hopefully I don't sound like I'm dying. You guys are out there listening to me. I don't have to hear all of you dying. You guys get to hear me. This is a one-sided relationship. Good. Come on, guys. Jumping jacks. Jumping jacks. Don't stop. Keep going. Pick up the pace. Go a little faster. Get that super sweaty. A few more seconds. And good. That's it. Good. Okay. Perseverance, right? We don't stop. It doesn't have to be complicated. I didn't give you guys 60 exercises, although, you know, if you know a lot of exercises, you can change up those movements. Wonderful. Go for it. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? You guys have power to make these choices, to take ownership, to persevere through these times of change, okay? Let's talk about that last characteristic. Adaptability, okay? We have to be firm in who we are. We have to know what we're reaching for, what our goals are. We have to keep our eyes on the prize, right? But sometimes the path that we take to those end goals can alter. Sometimes things in our life change so that new doors are open. And so when we talk about mastering change, we have to make sure that we don't see change as doors closing, but more doors opening, okay? So in 2004, in a very small village in Sri Lanka, Unfortunately, there was a very tragic event that happened. There was a very big tsunami that came through, and some of you may remember this, and it hit Sri Lanka very, very hard, and it killed many people. There was one young man, Anthony Suthan. He was from this small village in Sri Lanka in 2004, and he was walking along the beach one day, and he saw this happening. He saw this tsunami coming, right? And right away, he ran for a big concrete building. It had a huge tower on the top of it. And he climbed up this tower, and he clung onto this tower while the tsunami swept through his village and wiped out everything. Unfortunately, it killed many of his family. It destroyed his home. It wiped out his work, his businesses, everything. And so this was a very tragic thing. This was a major change that happened, right? Change alone is unchanging. But what Anthony did is he adapted, he flexed, he decided that this would be an opening door for him. While he was in a refugee camp, he learned how to repair fax machines. He learned how to repair computers. He became a translator for the aid services, the different countries that sent people in to help. He decided that he was going to adapt and walk through the open doors that this tragedy created. And he never changed who he was as a person. He still desired to help and grow his nation, but now he had an opportunity to do it in a different way. So he adapted the way he was doing it. And for us, adaptability is so crucial. I'm speaking, I think, mostly to people who are visually impaired in this group. And you know as well as I do that you have to be adaptable. When you are blind, you need to be able to flex and learn and do things a different way, okay? Now, when we strength train, when we build up our muscle tone, this is a form of adaptability. We do strength training movements, and we push things, and we lift things, and we pull things, and our muscles adapt and grow and become stronger, and that's what helps us become better athletes, right? So adaptability in our minds and adaptability in our bodies helps us to master change. So the next set of exercises, we're going to do the same thing that we did, where it's going to be 3 rounds, 3 exercises, 45 seconds apiece. But we're going to focus more on strength, okay? So we've got 3 exercises we're going to do. We're going to do a push-up, we're going to do a squat for the legs, and we're going to do a seated twist for the abdominals. We'll kind of get the whole body in. Real quick, push-up. I'm down on my hands, and there's different ways we can do this. I'll show you a quick modification. When you put your hands on the floor, okay, making sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders, not up here by your face, right? We don't want this. We want your hands at your shoulder level at chest, on the outside of your chest, okay? So I'm up on my toes, on my hands. My hips are not way up in the air, and my hips are not down towards the floor. You put your hips at the same level as your shoulders. You're in a straight line. Now, as you lower down, you don't point your elbows straight out to the side. So I'm turned to the sideways. My left elbow is towards you guys. When I come down, I don't push my elbows out towards you. I push my elbows back at an angle, okay? If I was on a clock, if I'm looking at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock is behind me, my elbows would point back towards like 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock, okay? As I come down, I'm doing the push-up, lower your whole body down, and then press back up. Slow and controlled. So here's the key. I'm going to give you guys 45 seconds to do these exercises, but I don't care how many you get. I don't care if you do 4 push-ups or 40 push-ups. I want you to be in that push-up position the whole time. It's called time under tension. It's a great way to build up strength. You can go very, very slowly. You can go quicker if you want, but I don't want you resting in the middle. Stay up on your hands as long as you can, okay? Exercise number 2 is going to be a squat. So again, I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see this. As you do a squat, many people make mistakes on these movements because they don't stop and listen to the little movement directions that I'm giving them. So pay close attention with this. When you do a squat, okay, you're up straight, your feet are hip width. You start the squat by pushing your hips back first, okay? You don't drop your knees straight down. You don't push your knees forward. I'm up straight, arms at my side, feet hip width, toes are pointed forward. Push your hips back just slightly, okay? And then you start to bend the knees. So as you sit, you can see that my knees are over top of my ankles, maybe just a little towards my toes, but not way out here. This is no good. You got to sit back, put your hips back into a little chair as you sit down so that all of the weight goes into your heels. Your arms can stay at your side. You can reach out in front of you to counterbalance, whatever works. So it's hips back, sit down in a little chair, okay? Keep your chest and eyes forward, and then drive your heels into the floor to stand back up. Use your glutes, squeeze your glutes to stand up. Last exercise, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump in. Seated twist. I'm sitting on the floor. My knees are bent with my heels on the ground. You're gonna lean back and you're gonna look up towards the ceiling at an angle, okay? So I'm kind of looking at the wall in front of me, but I'm gonna lean back so I'm looking at like the ceiling up in front of me. You're gonna raise your feet off the ground so you're balanced on your buttocks. Hands are together, chest is up. You're gonna turn and touch the ground on your left, turn and touch the ground on your right. So you're twisting back and forth while balancing on your buttocks. Now, if that's a little challenging, you can keep your heels on the ground as you turn left and right. Same thing, a little bit less pressure. And also with the push-ups, if being up on your toes, if this is challenging, you can come down to your knees and do that same push-up movement. That's called a modification, and 100%, I want you to modify the exercises, whether you're doing it to make the exercise easier or if you're doing it to make the exercise harder. Exercise is all about modification, okay? I know a lot of big, strong guys that will do push-ups from their knees because they can do a lot of them and it changes how the exercise works. So don't be afraid to modify if that feels better for you, okay? Hope you guys are with me on this. I'm excited to finish this up. We're gonna do a couple of wrap-up notes, and then I'm gonna have some question and answer time. Hopefully I can help you guys with a few other things. So get yourselves ready. I'm gonna start my timer again, and we are gonna go with our push-ups. Let's go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, and go. So I'm gonna go real slow with my push-ups. I'm not worried about getting 100 push-ups in. I'm just gonna go very slow. I'm gonna try to stay up on my hands and my toes through the entire movement. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can go from your knees, you can go whatever pace works for you guys. But we're gonna force our muscles to adapt. We're gonna build up strength just as we force ourselves to adapt when we find ourselves facing changes and facing challenges. Slow and controlled. And it's starting to burn, a few more seconds. Good, okay. We're up on your feet for squats. For our next exercise, again, I'm gonna focus on going slow and controlled. You're welcome to go fast, and you're welcome to go as deep into the squat as you want. Whatever works for you. I'm going nice and slow and controlled. I'm gonna focus on just getting a good stretch movement in. Sitting my hips down, driving up through my heels. All the weight stays in my heels. Good. Excellent. Sitting down, driving up. Erky, you better be up doing this. I can't be the only one getting sweaty here. Sitting down, driving up. Squeeze the glutes as you stand up. Use your buttocks, right? Use the big muscles in your legs, your hips to do the work. Tighten up your abdominals. And that's good. Okay. We're on the floor. We're going to do our seated twist. Again, whatever version is good for you. If you want to keep your heels on the floor, that's okay. But I want you to try to challenge yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Set and begin. So this one again. You can go pretty fast with this one. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to focus on keeping my chest up, keeping my abdominals tight. I'm going to focus on good technique. That is crucial. More than anything is good technique. You can do 100 push-ups, but if you do them poorly, it does you no good benefit. It may actually hurt you. So, starting to feel this. Come on, guys. Stay with it. Woo. breathing. Okay, keep going. And good. Okay. Good, guys. That's round one. Let's go 2 more rounds, and we'll be all done sweating. Back to push-ups. Here we go. I'm going to bring my elbows in a little closer on this one. And go. Just to change the angle. You bring your elbows in a little closer. Gets a little bit more of your triceps and back of your arms. So here you go. Real slow and controlled. Good. Nice and steady. I'm running out of air. You guys are on your own for the rest of these. I can't keep talking. Very slow and controlled. Down nice and slow. Very easy. Very strong. Try to stay on your hands the whole time. Don't stop. No shaking it out yet. A few more seconds. And done. Good. Okay, back up for squats. Whew. I am feeling this. Sorry guys, I'm like gasping into the microphone here. Squats are next. Get ready and go. Sitting your hips back and down, very slow and controlled. Again, I'm going slow. You guys, I don't know, go super fast if you want to. But make sure your technique is very, very sound, okay? Use those glutes. Keep the knees straight ahead. I'm going to turn this way so you guys can see this. I'll explain this also as you sit down. Don't let your knees collapse in towards each other like this. Keep them open. Keep them over top of your ankles, okay? Your knees shouldn't buckle in. And as you get more tired, that's going to happen. So don't let that be the case. Keep the knees open. Slow, slow control. And perfect. Okay, we're back to our seated twists. Almost done, guys. Almost done. You're almost done listening to my voice. Sit up straight. Deep breath. Lean back. Feet up. Chest up. Twist and turn. Biggest mistake that people make here is they round up their back. They bring their chin down. Put your chest up. Push your belly towards your thighs so that your back stays very straight and strong. Your knees are slightly bent. Not a lot of movement in your feet. You're twisting left and right, but your head and your feet stay pretty stationary. A lot of movement in the shoulders, not so much in your knees and your feet. Back and forth. Almost there. Almost there. Come on. Get a few more, guys. Don't stop. We're almost done. Almost done. A few more seconds. And good. Okay. This is it, guys. Just these last 3. And then we towel off and we chit chat about how awesome Goalball is. Get set. We're going push-ups. And begin. Slow and controlled for me. Nice and slow. Concentrating on squeezing. Going all the way down. All the way up. All the way down. All the way up. Going slow. Where'd all the oxygen go in here? Somebody took it. Slow. Press. I'm going to stay on my hands. Not going to stop. Keep going. I'm done. A few more seconds. Yes. Good. Okay. Just 2 exercises left. We're almost done. Deep breath, guys. Here we go. Squats. Y'all should be up on your feet. Ready to go. Good. Back. I'm going slow, control. I'm going to try to get real low in these. I'm going to try to do these squats really well. Get super low. And then come up nice and slow. Using your glutes. Sitting way back. You're trying to sit in that little chair that's way behind you. And you're not trying to look down at the ground. As I sit, I'm not bringing my chest forward. I'm staying up. I'm looking at the window in front of me. Straight ahead. Trying to keep my chest up, my eyes forward. Using my glutes. Trying to ignore the creaking in my knees because I'm old. Perfect. Okay. Next one. Last one. Last one, best one, guys. Come on. Let's finish it up. If you didn't get up to this whole thing, do this one with me at least. Sitting on your bottom, head up high, lean back, and begin. Twist. I'm going to go a little faster on this one. I'm going to keep my chest up. I'm going right, left, right, left, right, left. I'm going to finish up strong with this exercise. I'm going to try to get as many as I can and make sure that I'm finishing better than I started. Try to finish strong, guys. Come on. Get a little bit more. Ugh. Burning. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Now I got to coach myself. Again, you guys are on your own. I'm coaching me now. Trying to stay on. A few more seconds. And that's it. All right, guys. Whew. Little sip of water, little towel off. Listen. 3 things, right? We take ownership of who we are. We persevere through these changes. And we're adaptable when things come along. Me, being somebody who's been visually impaired my whole life, I know these principles well. And there's a lot more that I could teach you guys, a lot more exercises, more characteristics and principles that you guys can focus on. But what I want to do is I want to challenge you guys. Here's the challenge for you. Here's the takeaway, right? I want you to think about some areas in your life that you need to take ownership of. I want you to think about some areas of your life that you need to persevere more, right? You need to go the distance. You can't give up so easily on. And I want you to think about some things in your life that maybe you need to be a little adaptable with. You were trying it and it wasn't really working, so you need to think of a new way to approach it. I'm challenging you guys to do that today, right? And when I circle back to the question that I asked you earlier, how powerful are you? And my hope is that after this presentation, you would have one simple answer. The answer would be very, very powerful. You guys have choices. I really want to thank you guys for listening to my presentation today. I want to let you know that my Facebook group that I put together, it's growing a lot. There's a ton of people in there. I'm sharing regular videos. I've got a YouTube channel where I do descriptive videos like this. My Facebook group is Revision Training with Tyler Marin, Fitness VIPs. I'm also working on a fitness project, an audio described fitness project for people who are visually impaired. I'm building that project currently. I'm hoping to launch that project in the next several weeks. So you can join the group to get some more information on that. And I'm here for you guys. Like the people in my group know that if you ask a question, I will typically give you the best answer that I can. And if I don't have it, there's a lot of really great people in the group who have a ton of information. And it's all about us who are visually impaired coming together and finding ways to make sure that these types of changes are not mastering us, but we are mastering it. So that's my presentation. I'm going to hang out here. And I'd love for you guys to ask me any questions or anything that I can help you out with. I'm more than happy to do that.
Great, fantastic, Tyler. Thank you for this great concrete examples about training, about the workouts. And if someone has now some questions for Tyler, you can ask.
Did you get sweaty, Erky?
Yeah.
Did you get...
Yeah, I really.
All right, good. Yeah,
yeah.
Me too. So I just thought it wasn't just me.
Yeah, that's true. But if somebody has something to ask from Tyler, you can put your microphone on now and ask some question if you want.
I'm going to pull up a chair while I'm waiting. Have a seat for a second.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. I have one question.
Yes.
Tyler, congratulations for this presentation. It's very important for in this moment of the coronavirus. I am a vice president of the European Goalball Club Association, Luís Gestas, and my question is if exists one exercise to train the arm strength?
An exercise to build up strength, I think is your question. Do you mean for like the whole body, or just for like your legs or arms? Is there a particular part of the body that you're thinking of?
Yes, but for one player, for the training, the explosive shot in house, what is more important exercise for the explosive shot?
Okay. I think I understand. Yeah, this is this is the question, right? For every athlete, for every goalball player, how am I faster, right? How do I explode harder, throw the ball harder, right? Like this is big, right? What we want to do. The answer is kind of complicated, because goalball, of course I'm biased, right? But goalball is my favorite sport ever, right? And goalball is very complicated. You need strength, you need endurance, you need balance, you need flexibility, all of these things, because it's very full body. It takes all of these things to be good at goalball. So I think that there's not like one particular exercise that does all of these things, but if you do a routine that has good stretching, good flexibility, you do a routine that like the push-ups and the squats, where you go very slow to build up strength, but then you also do some exercises like a burpee. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this exercise. I can I guess I should demo if I'm going to tell you about it, but this is a much faster exercise. So the way you do this, you're standing up, and like the push up and the squat that we did, it's essentially you put them together and you go very fast. So I'm standing up, you come down very fast and push your feet out, and you do push up quick, pull your feet in, and then you jump, right? And this is meant to be boom, very, very quick. So you're here, down, out, in, jump, right? Very, very controlled, smooth movement. And that like boom, 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 fast speed, this will help build up your body speed. The exercise where we were sitting and doing the rotation, you know, when you're throwing a ball, right, you use a lot of this rotation to pull through. So doing those seated rotations will help. So unfortunately, the answer is not like extremely simple, but if you think about just becoming a better athlete, again, more flexibility, more balance, more strength and speed, take kind of a mix of those exercises, and I think that will give you the best results for being a better goalball player, for being faster and stronger. At least this is what I believe in my experience as a trainer and an athlete and a player. So hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. I have some questions for you, Tyler. I'm thinking about you say that you don't have to need at home when you are working out. You don't have to need any equipment like that. But if you can recommend if people wants to provide some equipment for workouts at home, what do you like to recommend? What people should provide?
Yeah, great question. So I think that if you can have some equipment at home, there's some very simple things that you can get that can be very, very helpful, and typically are not very expensive either. So having a good mat for the floor, a yoga mat, because like I said, when you're visually impaired and you're up, doing jumping jacks and moving around, you can stay on the mat and you know that you're in a safe place. Like if you start to move off the mat, okay, I'm moving too far and you need to move back to the middle. It also, it pads up your hands, your knees, your toes when you're laying on the mat. So it serves several very good purposes. Another thing that can be very helpful, and this goes back to the question about being more explosive and being fast. If you can get a weighted ball, this can be very, very good as well. There are many, many different types. There are some that will bounce very well. There are some that, like, when you throw them onto the ground, they just, they like stick to the floor. So there are several that you can get, some with handles. I typically recommend, if you're going to be working out in your home, first you make sure that your floor is very, very solid. Like this is an old kind of wood floor. I wouldn't try to like bounce a hard ball on it. But if you get the kind that kind of slap into the floor and stop, that can be a little bit better for that. But when you have a weighted ball, something not super duper heavy, you can do 8 to 10 pounds, something along those lines, 4 kilos. If you are doing exercises where you're holding the ball and you reach up overhead and you slam it to the ground, this works on a lot of your speed and endurance. You can take the ball and turn left and right with it. There's like many, many, many exercises you can do while holding onto a ball. Resistance bands. So I usually get the ones with the handles. So you can have those and you can step on them with your feet and do bicep curls, or you can hold them in front of you and push up overhead to do presses. There's dozens and dozens of exercises you can do with resistance bands. And again, they're typically pretty cheap, very easy to travel with. You can put them in your bag very easily. And then one of the last things that I really like personally is jump rope. So again, very good cardio. It's something where if you have some open space and you're visually impaired, you don't need to see down the road to go for a run. You can take a jump rope and you can kind of be in one place jumping. You can do like high knee skips and other things like that. Very, very cheap, very easy to use, very travel friendly, builds up a lot of strength in your calves and your feet, builds up your cardio very well. It's super, super good for you. So those are a couple of things that I would generally recommend to have at home. And then from there, it can get a little more expensive, but you can get weights, dumbbells and things like that are very, very versatile. A pull-up bar, they can be very cheap, $20, and you can hang it like in the doorway and you can do pull-ups and other exercises on. That's very good. So very, very simple stuff that you can have at home that can really change how your workout is structured.
Thanks a lot. One more question for you personally. What is your favorite exercise right now? What's your favorite workout? And have it.
For me.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, favorite is a funny term, right? Like favorite doesn't mean that I like it, right? So it might be the one that I hate the most, but I want to do as an athlete, right? So I think the exercise that I showed you, again, in the US, we call it a burpee. I don't know if it has different names elsewhere, but where you come down and you do a push up and then you jump up in the air. Like, it's one of those exercises that kind of gets everything for you. It does many, many things. It works the whole body very quickly. It's cardio, it's strength and speed. And so I have several workouts that we're doing. Our coach, our strength and conditioning coach for the USA men's team has prescribed exercises for us to do at home. And it ends up being a lot of movements, but the burpee, that one ends up being in it a lot. And I hate it. It's challenging, but I like it a lot because ever since I started playing goalball, I wanted to give goalball the respect that it deserves, and I wanted to be the best athlete that I can be because I think it's an amazing game, and I want to be the best I can be to honor that sport, if that makes sense. So yeah, burpees, I love them and hate them at the same time.
I have a question. The last part, push-up, or twist and the squat, it's for you for time or an AMRAP. When you practice the last exercise, you make 4 times. It's a time and the maximum round, or you make 3 rounds, for example.
I think I understand what you're asking. Like when doing a strength exercise, like the push-ups or the squats, are you trying to go for a maximum amount of time, or is it like more rounds is better? Like what's the better way to progress that exercise? I think that's your question. Is that right?
My question is the free exercise. You have an objective to make all run on 10 minutes, or we have an objective to make the small time for make 10 run.
Okay. So I think that the best answer kind of comes in the form of what is your goal, right? So I've been a personal trainer for many years. I've worked with a lot of people of varying fitness levels. And I think that one of the most important things you can do is understand your own capacity, understand your own ability, and then try to push that farther. Okay. So I chose the timers today. I chose about 3 rounds of the exercise, about 45 seconds each round, because it's kind of a middle ground. There are many good athletes who maybe were not challenged very much by that, but there are some maybe on this conference who like that was very, very challenging. So it's kind of middle ground. So usually what I recommend for people is if you want to know how many to do, think about your ability. And when we talk about body weight exercises, just your weight and gravity, you want to try to do more repetitions, more time, more volume. That's usually the idea, because you're not adding weight to it. That's not a variable. So if you decide that you want to do better with push-ups, then you want to just increase your volume. Now you can either do that by saying, okay, I'm going to do 3 rounds, 1 minute each. And the next time I'm going to do 3 rounds, 1 minute, 15 seconds each. And then the next time I'm going to do 3 rounds, 1.5 minutes each. Or you can say, today I'm going to do 3 rounds at 1 minute. And the next time I'm going to do 4 rounds at 1 minute. And the next time 5 rounds at 1 minute. You can break it up however you want. But ideally you should say, okay, last month I was only doing 50 push-ups in a workout, all told, however you want to break it down. And this month I'm doing 100 push-ups in a workout. You've got a greater volume, however you decide to split up that movement. Okay. So that should help build up strength when you increase your volume. Just a real quick note, when you think about building up speed, that's a little bit different, right? So if you're just trying to get stronger, it doesn't really matter how you break it up as long as you increase that volume. If you're trying to build up speed, you're trying to be faster as a goalball athlete, then you might think about, okay, I'm not going to worry about doing 200 push-ups. I'm going to try to do 30 push-ups, but I'm going to do them very fast. I'm going to come down and push up really hard off the floor. I'm going to do the clap push-ups, right? Plyometric push-ups. So that focuses more on your speed as opposed to your strength. It's kind of two different goals. So I hope that's not too much information. I'm just trying to make sure that I answer your question. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yes, it's thank you.
Yeah.
I have my response.
Excellent.
Yes, Tyler, as you said, you have trained and played goalball over 20 years, and you have made thousands of workouts for the goalball. And what do you think? What is the most important thing that you have learned during your career about how to work out for goalball?
I think that again, kind of going back to something that I said earlier, is that goalball For anybody who has never played it before, I don't think people understand how challenging it is, right? We know as athletes because we've played the sport, but you're down on the floor, you're kicking out, you're jumping up, you're getting the ball, you're stepping back, you're stepping and throwing. Like it's a long game, but it's very explosive, very fast. It's very, very challenging. And I think that if I've learned one thing about training and exercising for goalball, it's that you can't be one-dimensional. You have to be an all-around good athlete, I think, to be good at goalball. You need to be strong. You need to be fast. You need to be flexible. You need to have good endurance, right? You need to be very aware of your body's movement. So when you train for goalball, you should think about these different categories and how to train in each one. You know, if you're the type of athlete that you're like, I don't really worry about stretching, I don't worry about warming up or cooling down, I don't really do a lot of stretches, then you are missing out on your ability to be a better goalball player. You should be stretching, you should be doing flexibility, because the more flexible you are, the greater range of motion you have, the greater power over distance time you're able to apply to a throw, and the more powerful you'll be able to throw. So little principles like that. You need to be an all-around good athlete.
Yes, we are always looking forward to the future, but for me, for example, as you said, I'm a little bit regret it because I haven't worked enough for my stretching in the past. But if you look back, would you like to change something in your training for goalball?
Yeah, I think kind of similar to what you said, Erkki, is that I now understand how important that is, but I didn't do it very well in the past, and I was I'm a pretty good athlete overall, but like flexibility, I was always pretty poor. Like I could not stretch very well, and I think I missed out. Not only I think is it good for you to be able to perform better, but it helps your body last longer. You don't deal with as many injuries and things like that. So I'm kind of the same as you. I wish I had done a little bit better about that, but you know, you do the best you can with what you have, and you know, I know that you are an excellent goalball player despite that, and I think that if you guys, you know, listening to this are thinking like, how do I become a better goalball player? You know, make sure that you're doing those little things now to help you be a better athlete now, but also into the future as your body gets a little bit older, and you can find that can be a little more challenging too.
Yes, this is a great advice to all the young athletes that don't don't notice that you have to you have no flexibility when you are 30-year-old. And
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yes, but if somebody has more questions, you can now ask. We have still some time for questions.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
So that's Vicky from Greece. And well, I think warm up is like super important. And I guess like every one of us, at least players, I guess, we have a like routine that we usually perform, and everyone knows like their selves. But do you think there is something like specific, or like, I don't know, like you're a personal trainer, that like especially help for goalball, or you know?
Like for you mentioned a warm up routine. Is that what you're asking about? Like
about the warm up routine in goalball.
Yeah. So so I have a specific routine that I go through. Actually, it was taught. Part of it I kind of adapted some movements and things like that, but part of it was taught to me by our strength and conditioning coach from the USA team. So you know, we learn from the people around us. We learn from other athletes, and we watch and learn from other people. So the warm up that I use, I feel like is very, very good for generally warming up your body for any activity. So a couple of the warm up movements that I showed you during this presentation are some of them that I use. There's about 7 or 8 more stretches that I will mix in with my warm-up. My warm-up for me, again, it takes me probably 15 minutes to do a good, strong warm-up. And you want to think about your warm-up before a game in a couple of layers, right? So layer number 1 or step number 1 is just to do kind of some very light, gentle, full body movement. So like that march in place, the lateral step, things that are not real explosive and super fast, but kind of get your core temperature up, your body sweating just a little bit, your heart rate up. From there, the next layer, the next step is elongating your muscles. So going through those dynamic stretches. You don't necessarily want to do a lot of static stretching before competition. You want to do more dynamic stretching, which is like we were doing, where you step forward, you reach up, you arch your back, but you only hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds. And then you step out of that again, you go to the next stretch. So you repeat that over and over again, and it opens your muscles up and then closes them, opens them and closes them. And that will heat up the muscle without tearing the muscle fibers open too hard. So once you have your core temperature up, once you have your muscles stretched out and loosened up, then the third layer is to be a little bit more sport specific. So for goalball, when I get to that kind of third round, that third layer, that's when I'm kind of working on my explosiveness. I'll get down on the floor and I'll do some practice dives. I'll do some practice throws, working on building up my speed and loosening up my body for those specific activities. If you go onto my YouTube channel or you join the group, again, I would recommend any of you guys join the group. It's Revision Training with Tyler Merren. The YouTube channel is Revision Training LLC. And I have a dynamic warm-up in there that shows like the first primary exercises, the first 8 exercises, and from there the routine can kind of vary. And then also when I release my fitness project, my audio described workouts, I'm going to have full dynamic warm-ups built into that you'll be able to utilize as well to kind of learn from. So hopefully that covers and gives you some thoughts. But if you have more questions, I'm happy to field those.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Kuuluukohan tästä? We would like to know what kind of different throwing techniques would you recommend for goalball?
Throwing techniques, right? I think that's what you said, throwing techniques. So I think what you're asking about is actually how you physically throw the ball. So you're not asking about like what exercises are best for throwing the ball harder, but like what techniques you use physically when you're playing goalball. So I have some experience with biomechanics and like the study of how the body moves and efficient sports science when it comes to that. But it's a little bit outside of my scope to say like, hey, let me tell you exactly how the best throw in goalball is. Because everybody's body is a little bit different. Some, are a little more shorter, stronger, compact. Some are a little bit taller, longer limbs. So it's very different. You can see the difference in the way people throw. I guess I'll just, give a couple of names as examples. Again, Rick from Lithuania, who doesn't do a full spin throw, but has that big, long turn, his very long arms, very strong in the core, and he's able to pull through very hard with that long looping throw. Yeah. And then, Erky has a very, very fast spin, right? He goes through his motion very, very quickly. He's very, very compact, but very fast in his spinning movement. And then I apologize to my friends in Brazil because I cannot think of his name, who steps in and throws between his feet, right? And throws backwards between his legs. This is a very powerful movement that he does very well. So like the method of throwing a goalball, like the best method, I can't really give you an answer because it kind of depends, right, on what you've trained and what you've done. I guess for me personally, the things that I've found work best involve, I do a spin throw. I do a full spin. And I feel like my goal is to try to be as fast as I can while still trying to reach out as far as I'm able to. Use the long lever. My arms are pretty long, so I try to use that to my advantage. And I try to step very fast into my throw and use my whole body. You know, when I step into my throw, for example, I try to take my left arm and throw my left arm behind me to help gain more leverage. I gain more momentum by throwing that arm and activating my spin with it. You know, whether this is really the best way to do it, I'm not sure. I found it works very well for me, but others may have some different opinions, and that might be a great topic for a whole nother presentation. We get some people weighing in on that, but those are my thoughts on what may be the best throw is to get the most power, you know, of course. But after that, you know, the best throw is not always the most powerful throw, right? Sometimes the best throw has the most bounce, or it has the most turn or spin. Sometimes the best throw is the one that is very quiet on its release. It's fast, but it's very quiet, you know. So the best throw can be a number of those things, not always the fastest, hardest, right? So little bit of a tangent, I guess. We can talk about that all day, I bet.
Yes, we have still time for one question if somebody would like to ask something from Tyler.
What do you think about having long walks? How does it help, or is it funny to have a walk every day for like 10 kilometers? How does it help our body?
Okay. That's a great question. And so my answer is that it's very good for you. Anytime you can be active, this is great. Walking is very, very, very good for your body, right? So if this is the activity that you prefer to do, 100%, please, walk, because it is very healthy for you. Now, having said that, there are demands that your body has, and I'm speaking right now just in general health. I'm not speaking so much of being like an elite athlete playing goalball at a high level. I'm just talking about like being a healthy person, a healthy individual. There are things that your body demands to keep it running well, right? A vehicle, a car, if you only ever add gasoline to it, then eventually the car will break down. You need to do other things to the car. You need to add gasoline, but you need to check the engine. You need to put air in the tires. You need to clean the oil and change the oil on it, things like that. Your body also needs more than just walking, right? So walking is very, very good for you, but walking doesn't necessarily improve your flexibility. It doesn't necessarily improve your balance. Walking doesn't really build up your strength, especially in the upper body, your arms, your back, your shoulders. So you need to do other exercises to have a full picture of health. That's very important. When I worked with my clients, I always told them there are 4 categories of exercise. There's strength, cardio, flexibility, and balance. Okay, so strength, endurance, flexibility, and balance. So when you do a lot of walking, you're working a lot on your endurance, but you're not necessarily getting those other 3 areas. So you're missing a lot by just walking. Okay, so my recommendation would be continue to walk. That's great for you. But add in at the beginning or the end of your walk some stretching, a little bit of strength exercises. I think at the end would be best. A couple of balance exercises. It doesn't have to be a lot. 15 minutes extra, 15 to 20 minutes of a few of those will make a very big difference in how your body functions.
Fantastic. Huge thanks to Tyler. we hope to see you and hear you again in the future for this kind of masterclass. Maybe in the future we will have some other topics or something like that for a workout. We would really love to see you and hear
Sounds
you
great.
here again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you all. It's we have almost 1.5 hours now, and this masterclass is coming to the end. And I would like to remind you that all these masterclasses, this also will be found on our YouTube Goalball Academy YouTube channel, and also in podcast on Spotify and Google Podcast. And as many of you know, that we launched last Saturday the entire talk show about Goalball called Quiet Please. This first episode of the Quiet Please talk show is also can be found on YouTube channel, and also from Spotify and Google Podcast. And the next episode of the Quiet Please talk show will be published on next Saturday. We don't reveal the quest, the hero, not yet, but you will see it on next Saturday. And the next masterclass will be after 2 weeks on 6th June. It will be the theme of the masterclass is Goalball, what is your future? And it depends on about future Goalball events, and especially I think about major championships, upcoming major championships, because Corona pandemic has made a lot of effect about Goalball major championships. So we have on next masterclass on 6th June, we have speakers from IPSA Goalball subcommittee, the chairman, Mr. Kari Räsänen, and the sport director, Mr. Alexei Baryaev. They are the speakers of the next masterclass, and I believe that we hope to see you all after 2 weeks. And before that, everybody do a lot of workouts and take care of yourselves and stay healthy, and be in love with Goalball. And I believe that also next masterclass we have a very lot of important points and things about the future in Goalball. So everybody, thanks a lot, and we will see you and hear you soon. Take care, my friends.